Audio check, ladies and gentlemen, audio check. Be with you shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Be with you shortly. Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Just getting started here. Give me a minute here, fellas and ladies. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom. So glad to be hosting this wonderful show again here from the global northern headquarters of the DYOR Media Network in Ottawa, Ontario. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, my long sojourn is over. For the past 2 months, I've been out and about. I've been to Colorado, I've been to Florida, and every state in between because I've been driving my ass off all over the country for kids, vacation, house sitting, you name it. I have been doing it. So I'm back here. I've got the studio set up again. Looking forward to having some great shows with you this week. I got one problem, though. I got no Pedro. This is normally where I would introduce him, right? Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Pedro Garcia. Pedro will be with us shortly, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 21st, 2025. And what do we got going on here? Let's just bring the pricing up. You can see it over my head. You can see it next to me here. Bitcoin pumping up to 109,430. Thank you very much. I'll take all the credit for that. I wish I could. I wish I could take the credit for that, ladies and gentlemen. But you know whose credit it actually is? Who? It's the crypto swamp creatures. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Every time they put out an episode, BTC pumps. It's literally fact. It's not like, ooh, this is kind of interesting. Every time they put out a new episode, BTC pumps like crazy. It's really an amazing correlation. And I've started to make fat stacks of cash by putting the monies in the market when they're doing their recording. All right, that's not true either. But anyway, what is true is that the market is pumping. We can look at the chart over here on this side of you here. For those of you on your phones, you can't see it. We'll have the chart up later when Pedro comes on. But it's just moving and grooving. Let's actually get a daily chart up here. This is the daily chart here. Got my demo account trades on it. Let's just go right over to... Oh, with Pedro not here, it screws up the whole thing. Let's just try to go to that. And turn my screen on. Screen. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is the daily chart for Bitcoin here. Box above me is empty. I'm missing my boy Pedro. Anyway, you can see the past couple of days here. Couple equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 out of the last 20 days we've had positive days, and BTC has pumped from the mid 90s all the way up into new all-time highs here at 109,000. Actually, I don't know if it actually broke the all-time high or not. Someone needs to let me know about that. Let's see. Let's just make sure that we are live. For some reason, we are not live on YouTube. Well, yes, we are. Well, actually, we are live on YouTube. So everyone watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let's get the... Let's check the YouTube feed. Make sure everything's working. Normally, this is when Pedro starts talking, and I do a little behind-the-scenes tech stuff. Yeah, it's working just fine here. All right, as I was talking about, the old Bitcoin here is pumping. Let's go to the weekly chart, and you can see why. I've become quite educated over the past few months using our BidFi demo account. You happen to be looking at Mexi's screen here just because I was using them also to trade some things not available on BidFi. All right, here's their weekly chart. This is really interesting. I know Pedro's going to go over this in detail a lot more. But as you can see here, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks have been green. This is a weekly chart. 7 weeks have been green. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's getting, the weekly chart is starting to get, let me bring it down so I can point to it. The weekly chart is starting to get down close to, I should say it's getting far away from the 21 week moving average. Let's make this bigger here so you can see it. The orange here is the 21-day moving average. And we all know, I tell you this over and over again, you hear it from me, you hear it from my boy Pedro up above me. When it gets too far away from a moving average that tracks it, eventually it's got to come back. Either it's got to come down, or it's just got to consolidate for time and let the 21-day catch up to it. It can't keep going away from it forever. Pumps like that do exist, but they're rare. So we plan on it coming back. And at this point on the weekly chart, showing a little consolidation would be good. Welcome to everyone joining us on Rumble. Thank you very much. Pedro will be with us in just a minute. He's running a little late today. I am too. I drove back from Chicago yesterday to Ottawa. Couldn't make it all the way. Wasn't feeling that good, so I stopped at a family's residence in Toronto. Spent the night there and drove back to Ottawa this morning. So we're a little behind, running a little late. Back to the daily chart here. The daily chart for Bitcoin, it's just looking good. All the moving averages are tracking with it for being a little bullish. Here, this is what I learned earlier today from Crypto Lifer. He's just the energy and the fun you get out of his show. Even just his opening is so much better than our opening. He got someone to make a really good a song that when you hear it, it's like you're like, yeah, it's on, baby, it's on. Anyway, why don't we change the music while we're at it? Change it to yeah. All right, the daily chart, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, it's been up only here. It's in up only mode. Let's see if can we turn Pedro Cam off there. Yeah, it's been up only mode. As we said, the weekly chart has been 7 weeks of green. Can't keep doing that. It's got to consolidate, which means a week or two of red. Maybe not in a row. Maybe green, then red, then green, then red. But look at the stochastics here. Stochastics just cruising right in the middle for the daytime. Cruising. All the moving averages are doing well up here. Remember, I'm a novice at this. Pedro's been teaching me. Why we start with the weekly, then come down to the daily. Looking good for Bitcoin to just keep rocking it. Let's see if my great machine is working here. See if it updates the price. It did. Look at that. Auto magically. All right, let's hit the 4-hour chart here. 4-hour chart. Look at this. Also primed for going up. It looks good, well above all the moving averages. Getting a little overbought, a little bit. These things are high right here. The stochastics and the RSI are high. I would look for divergences, but I'm not good at that. I'm just learning my divergences well. I don't have an instant eye for that. I got to go to the chart and look at it. But if I were to look at one, these are going up. Actually, I want to do it from the stochastics, not the RSI. Oop, can't drag it from there to there. Let's draw a new line. Now that's going up. Be a little longer time frame, might come up with a different idea. 4-hour chart looks great. Just looks like it's going to keep going up. I'm not looking at let's see. I'm not looking at any resistance up here. Let me rephrase that. I'm not looking for it because I don't have the historical knowledge on this chart where it is. But we'll look at it here in a minute, try and figure it out. I'm sure Pedro will be here shortly to tell us all about it. But this was in the 4-hour chart. This was a classic flag here. It pumped. It's just pumped wonderfully here. Came up here, consolidated for a couple of periods, and then just started to go up for that. Like I said on the weekly chart here, the 21-day. This is the 21 period. 21 period, little orange line right there. Starting to get a little far from price action, which usually means another consolidation is coming on. But there's still some room in that before you start getting uncomfortable with it. All right, for those of you watching on X, thank you very much. I don't have the X comment system up right now. I'm going to wait till Pedro comes back in order to spend some time getting the comment section going. All right, let's give everyone a welcome. Everyone, please comment, like, subscribe, follow, share. Send us your cash. Just do it. All right, let's get the Pedro's going to be here shortly. Let me get the X stream going here. Oh, it's been an interesting week. Interesting time, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting time. Let's see, let's just get everyone to do it. All right, the X stream is running. Thank you to everybody watching us over on X. Got a bunch of you over there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But more importantly, everyone on Rumble, please share this. I think I see Pedro's screen coming on and back there. Let's spend a second getting him tuned in here. Anyway, I'm going to wait for him to come on there. We're looking at the 4-hour chart here. 4-hour chart, as I said, still looking good. Looking very good here. Getting, as I said, getting far away from the 20-day moving average. I don't know if I have this set up as a 21 or 20-day moving average. Let's move down to the 1 hour. I'm filling in for Pedro while he's getting ready. Look at this. Anyway, the old 1 hour chart also still looking good. Also getting away from the 21-day moving average from the morning pump here. Looks like that's going to form a little flag there. I draw it, but I'm not any good at that. Pedro, if you could just talk a little bit so I can tell if you're talking to me. I cannot hear you. All right, let me see where I'm sending that audio. Oh, yeah, that's not where we want to go. We want to go to cable A. You talking, but I can't hear you. Let me check this here. I can hear you, my good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host. Let's see, let's get him in here properly here. My co-host Pedro Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's not on. There he is. There he is. He's the man in the box.
How you doing? Funny. Yeah.
Where's my
Have
Bitcoin
you ever got that? Somehow I get we got echo.
From your voice or mine?
From mine.
All right, I probably did.
In the audience here as well.
Let me check something.
La 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 la. I can't believe how expensive.
Yeah, I got the wrong thing here for you. No, you should be fine. That was just being fed to you, that echo.
Got you. Perfect. Alrighty then.
Welcome to the show, Pedro Garcia. As everyone that our massive, massive crowd right now of we'll say 5 people or so watching us. I was just telling them that I am now once again back in the Ottawa headquarters of the northern global headquarters of DYOR Media. Pedro's coming to us from the eastern headquarters in the northeast. And I've been frolicking and trolloping all around the United States the past couple of, months. And all of those obligations are over. And someone was just reminding me, we got to go back to Toronto for Father's Day. And I don't think we're going to do that. And it's past
you can.
Right, exactly. It's past that point in our lives where we have to go back to the homestead for every little event or something like that. It's past that time.
Yeah.
Striking is putting his foot down on that. Anyway, but you know what I was doing, Pedro, before we get into the formalities of everything? I was doing the top-down discussion of Bitcoin. I started with the weekly, I started with the daily, or then with the daily 4-hour, and I was just hitting the 1 hour. And I'm going to go back and do it just briefly, and I wanted you to critique me on what I said to everybody.
Okay.
I've got the 4-hour, the weekly chart here. In the weekly chart, this is what Pedro tells me to look at first. The weekly chart here has 7 weeks in a row of greenness on Bitcoin.
Hey, you there, bud?
Hello? Hello? Check, 1 2 1 2.
And is my PC messing up?
Let's check Pedro's thing. You should be getting us, Pedro.
I know I'm good there. Hello. I no longer speaking.
Check. I can hear you.
There we go.
Everyone can hear you, Pedro.
Hello? Nope.
Yeah, everyone can hear you.
Something happened.
Everyone can hear you.
Hello.
Everyone can hear you.
Oh, man.
Check 1 2 1 2.
What's going on?
Hold on. Let's just refresh Pedro's screen here. Check 1 2 1 2.
Hey, can you hear me?
Check. Yes.
It's weird because on mine, it's showing me that you cannot. I don't see my little green.
I'm seeing your little green there, Pedro.
Okay. All right. That's really weird.
And we can hear you.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, sorry about that. I didn't interrupt you.
That's all right.
So
hey, I'm in a new spot again. Got to have some technical difficulties. Might as well be you, not me. Oh, it's so good to feel better and that kind of stuff. Anyway, let me go back to what I was telling everybody. I got the weekly chart up here, and the weekly chart has got 7 weeks in a row of green. Green. Not that often that it does 7 weeks in a row without a red. We're the weekly chart's starting to get a little far away from the 21 period moving average, so got to watch that. But anyway, all the moving averages are below it. The RSI and the stochastics are getting high, but not too high yet. People don't want to say, I wouldn't say things were overbought yet on the weekly chart from the stochastics. And so for me, the weekly chart still looking pretty good. Hoping that it consolidates a bit and then pumps again, more like what it did this morning. Went to the daily chart, Pedro. Went to the daily chart, also said, look at these sexy moving averages. The price action consolidated a little bit here, and then pumped. All the moving averages are below price action. So if you're gonna go trade with the price action, trade with the trend, now is when you would be going long, not short. And so in my mind, the daily chart, also while getting a little far from the 21-day moving average, or 20-day moving average, it looks good. Go to the 4-hour, same shit. Same shit as the last one. Everything's good on the moving averages. Stochastics, RSI, all still in the healthy zones, not too overbought or anything like that. And I was just getting to the skip down to the 1-hour chart and hadn't spoken about anything yet, but also in a very similar pattern. Pedro, this is the first time I've ever done this with you, or really at all, in which I saw so many time frames following almost in the exact same position. All right above the moving averages, the stochastics and the RSI almost in the same spot. For my newbie mind, that would be quite the bullish event for these time frames. And so without stealing your thunder, but me blabbering on, practicing this stuff, did what I say make sense, or did I lead the audience astray?
Yeah, I think you did well. The biggest key is that.
Oops, pulled my headphones out.
Good job, man. Good job. Yeah, I think you did a great job on it. Look, market's going up. Don't try to catch a fallen knife and step in front of a train, right? Like I said at the beginning of the week, look, we want to go long, market's moving up. Now, I'm still kind of hesitant on this rally, but here's the thing. Market go up, we go up with it. We talked about potentially getting up to that 110 and potentially get to that 115, 120. And we could see this by the end of the month come up into here if this thing really starts to catch. You can see here we did have an increase of good volume. When I went on yesterday, we were a bit red, but we started to go green on Bitcoin. So I said if we end up with a pretty high amount of volume for today, but by the end of the day, above the previous yesterday for the sell, then there's just a good omen saying we're going to continue up. Same thing today. You can see here that we're really starting to do good on some volume coming in here. So this is good stuff. Now our thing is here. I don't want you guys to get caught off guard on this rally up to potentially the 110 and 115 area. So just make sure that you keep your, if you get in, pay attention to your trade. Don't walk away from it. Make sure that you're being smart in what you're doing. But most importantly, make sure you just have the correct risk ratio. Meaning if you're going to risk $100, you want to make sure that you're gunning for like $300-400. And if you take out money quick, I understand. Make sure you cover your stop. This could potentially turn at any period, but the fact is that we're having good volume coming in. We're having solid economic news. I think we might have some good news on Friday, but I'm a little hesitant to say it.
Right.
And the only reason why
I'm going to jinx it.
I know. Well, it's not jinxing it. It's that they potentially could, because we're going up for the week, right? That they would take that, and you have all these buyers coming in, and they could sell off on it. So that's why I think potentially I'm like, just be careful there. On Thursday, and I want to add it because we talked about this on Monday. Come on, there we go. On Monday, we talked about the week and what's actually happening. So let's pull stuff for the week. I said Thursday, I forget what it was. Wednesday, we had crude oil report. And then, where's Thursday?
Oh, my green screen is pulling the yellow out of the Bitcoin logo for some reason. That's weird.
Oh, that's funny. So you can see here that we actually have the initial jobless claims coming in. So we'll see what happens there. And then on Friday, you have the new home sales. The fact that they haven't dropped, and we are seeing people go from a government job to a private job, and typically most private jobs do pay a little higher than government jobs. But under Biden has paid a little bit more.
It's packed it on. Same here in Canada. The government just packed on the jobs. In fact, in Canada, they said that they finally figured out that the growth in the jobs over the past couple of years, 80% of it was government jobs. And
told you, Doc.
80%. And in the past they did not include the public sector in the unemployment and employment and jobs, payrolls, and all that. Most of the public sector jobs were not in there. And then when they started adding them, they took many more of them and put them in there. And so they're like, see, jobs growth. Meanwhile, the government's saying literally they need to. Nobody really cared about the size of the deficit, whether it was, they didn't care whether 34 billion or 54 billion. It was still 30 billion over their estimation. And they're just like, well, we only got a few days left in the month. Let's hire another 10,000 people, man. Get that jobs report up. Anyway, they learned from the Biden administration. They just said, let's scam everyone. Let's just put out fake news.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was like, you guys are you're literally just copying us. Like it's actually. So speaking of that, like when you look at private sector jobs and stuff like that, it's going to be really interesting to see the private sector jobs, which is right here, really start to climb. And then watching also the U.S. Where is the government employees start to drop. And it's cool. The cool thing behind it is that whenever somebody, like, your government jobs are great. I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, I've worked in the military. I've worked for contractors who were definitely, on the tit of the government. And so that basically, where I was getting my paycheck from. And the reason why I bring this up is, listen, the government's good. It's good to have government work. But the problem is that it is a debt-based system than an actual asset-based system, meaning assets pay you and keep up with inflation. And so a private sector job is more set up in that manner versus a debt-based system, meaning that this national debt is accumulating, and the actual what it costs to run the government, which is the U.S. federal spending, what they actually need to make, right, for that to cover you, is growing as well. But as the U.S. government employees decrease, then this will decrease, hence causing this to slow down, hopefully. And so we've talked about how the U.S. debt has to go through and they have actually been restructuring short-term and long-term debt on this. And so they've actually been doing it at a higher rate, which is horrible because interest rates have been kind of up and it's been killing. This is why Trump has been saying, "Pow, drop the rates, dog."
Pedro, look at the Doge number.
Oh yeah.
$500 billion.
Yeah, the problem is now is this real or not?
Well, because I get that. I get it may not be real or even that accurate. But the fact that it's probably pretty close because they have a bunch of, smart people and algorithms just trying to figure it out. Let's say it's off by 50%. It's still $750 billion, still $250 billion. But yeah. I have a feeling that thing's going to get up to $1 trillion over time. Because even though Mr. Musk just said, I've done enough politically and all that, that was his public face. Yet behind the scenes, it was subtly announced that he's attending another big event with Mr. Trump. Not a public event, a behind the scenes discussion on stuff like that. So his minions, his Doge minions, are still employed, and they're still going around looking for, trans panda calendars and things like that.
Well, what I think is interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is if you obviously you've watched some of those interviews that he's done here recently this week, and watching him, it was almost as if he was just like, he was just hurt. Like it almost not like a hurt little child, but almost like a hurt parent, right? Like almost the best way of putting it, of like, I'm actually trying to help out, and legacy media is literally trying to destroy me. Why? Like this idea behind it is like, they literally called me a Nazi. They literally called me all these things, and it's the furthest from the truth. Right. And the reality is like, I think and then to watch America go against him, right? Like that was really that. I think that here, like, there's this underlying hurt of like, do I want to keep this going? I don't know if he's really 100%. I don't know. Would you? Like, if you were in his position, would you be cool with how they treated him? Would you be cool with everything that came your way?
I would have taken it too personally. That's for sure. But not only that, one of the things you got to remember is Tesla is no longer majority owned by Mr. Musk. Unlike SpaceX, he still owns like 51% or something. But the board of directors said, they were even talking about, hey, if you're not going to be here, we need to replace you because someone needs to run this company. And of course, he realized, I'm sure he got caught up in the emotion of the whole winning the election thing. It's a fabulous, even if my cousin won the school board where he lives. It was ecstatic. My uncle is a mayor of a town in New Jersey. And it's one of those things where it's a good, they take the city councilman that does the best and make him the mayor or something like that. So it wasn't a big shock that he won, but still, it's like you're like, everybody loves him. You love me. You really love me. And I'm sure Mr. Musk got caught up in that. In that whole thing, and he was doing good, and they were getting good press. We saved all this money, and then the campaigns against him started up, and they were very effective. They appealed to the weak of mind, to the people that say, "Oh yeah, your life's all screwed up because that guy." Everyone said that Mr. Trump did that. He blamed, and we got some family discussions after a couple of bourbons, and that was the other side's from the family's excuse, saying, "Oh, Mr. Trump blames everyone else." He said, "You are like that because it's someone else's fault." And then here, the whole progressive, liberal, Democrat side said, "Oh yeah, all these problems are because of Mr. Musk. It's his fault. It's his fault." Never forget the fact that his companies pay something like $1 quadrillion in taxes, payroll taxes. They cut sales taxes. They, all the stuff, all the ecosystem they've created is one of the most massive ones, probably outside of the Amazon thing. And he's treated as the bad guy. And all the weak of minds are out there putting poop on his car, keying his cars, burning down his buildings. And you have to take that personally, especially when 2 months before that, you were their good guy. Yay, saving the planet, electric vehicles, woo!
Yeah, it was one of those things that it's sad because you want the smartest people working literally on the
Hey, pull your mic closer to your mouth again.
Is that better?
Lots better.
All right. What's sad is the fact is that you have some of the smartest people in the world literally trying to help out and really trying to make America better. And I don't understand what's actually happening. While we were talking, I was on the phone with somebody and there was a serious there was a major mistake that happened with me and some money, and I was shorted about 1/3 of what I was supposed to be given, and I had to sit there and be like, this is a substantial amount of money. Where does it go? Who made the mistake? Right? Like, I was looking for and the dodging of blame, and then finally I said, look, I'm not getting off. I was hung up twice. I was, and I said it, and everybody's name I took down, time, place, everything. And as I was sitting there, nobody was willing to catch and take the responsibility. Trump isn't necessarily taking the responsibility here, but one person I saw that I felt like was really willing to just say, hey, look, this is where we can see in paperwork what's actually happening here. Who signed these checks, who did all these things. At least in my circumstance, nobody was willing to take it. At least this guy was actually going after the people who actually was going through and ruining America. And I mean ruining because the further we go into debt, the harder it hits. And that means that your way of life, literally Americans' way of life, your way of life, it is, if it does not get reconciled, this debt to this GDP here, and if they do not increase, you're done. I mean, literally, we are done as a nation in a matter of literally 5 to 10 years.
Can't keep spending.
It is imperative to understand that this will grow at a point where we will literally be double the amount of debt to what we make GDP real quick.
It'll be like Japan. And Japan's in a whole heap of trouble.
Speaking of that, but anyways,
hold on. While we're talking, before we move on, a couple of things. Over on Rumble, we got Mikester back over there. Thanks for joining us, Mikester. He pointed out that Bitcoin is just tanked. And 76 Norton, welcome to the house, 76 Norton. He missed us. We've been on it all different times, or not at all.
Just hit our area.
Yeah. But Bitcoin, it's interesting. I went all the way back to the 1 hour chart and was just looking at the 15-minute chart. And I said, from here to the larger things, looks good. And I jinxed it.
No, you didn't.
I know we just had a little sell off there, but that's normal.
But not even that, because we talked about, I said that 109, 110 area to that 115 area is a potential turnaround. This is why we said, don't necessarily trust this big push. But I am still going on. This is why I made it very clear. I said, if this thing starts to sell off, take your profit. Like I made it very clear. Like if it's moving up, go long. But as soon as it starts to show weakness, get out of the market, because I kept saying it's just not, we're in an area where sellers are sitting. And so typically FOMO happens like this.
Right.
People want to jump in. Institutions want to do what? We talked about this during that.
Get a lower price.
Exactly. And so that's typically what happens. So this is what we're seeing. Now, what's most important is this, is that when we see it sell off like this, do we see a fat amount of green volume coming in? And it is, if you look at the 5-minute chart here, you can see here that that's actually what's happening. Also, we want to see something like this that happens, right? So you go up the same, and this is the same thing we see this every single day. This right here. Look, see this drop off. And then this right here, you can literally see, normally it's not this clear here, but you can see this drop off, big green right here. See that? See that right there? Then you start to see the slowdown and then the pick back up. And so you can, that is literally the picture. If you guys want to screenshot that and study that right there, that is basically what the market does. And if you flip it in a reverse sense, in a bear market, this is what it looks like, but reversed.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I was saying in those time frames, those larger time frames, I said we have to see it come back closer to the 20 period moving average. And indeed, I was behind the scenes. I'm looking, and it came right down and bounced off the 2-hour 20 period moving average. And so maybe we'll see a little consolidation. As long as it doesn't consolidate into a bear flag, consolidates into a nice go up flag. That's a technical term. Go up flag.
I like that. I like it. Jumping back here to a lot of these other plays, right? Like many of you guys know, like if you really want to make money, buy alts, right? And then if you really want to become wealthy, buy meme coins.
Mikester says, this is a comment is from a while ago, I guess. It goes to show how dumbed down the people have become. Maybe we need more fluoride in the water. Not. I'm an advocate of putting fluoride in the water because otherwise we'd be a nation like Britain with everyone with gnarly ass teeth. But I think they got too much stuff in the water now, and I'm someone that filters all the water I drink. So I'm like, well, why put it in the water if everyone's filtering their water anyway? I did it for lead, and then it turned out for 20 years I thought I was using the right filters. Not so much. It's not filtering out the lead.
I specifically bought a filtering system that it's literally called the water machine. It's pretty dope, but it filters out microplastics. The problem is now we're breathing in microplastics. We just found out.
Oh man, that's a bad shit. I was reading one of those articles, Pedro. It talked about that what you just spoke about, the breathing of the microplastics, and it's very environmentally where you live and stuff. And not only that, but the cancer rates for anyone that lives near high traffic roads and streets and highways. And they're starting to be able to plot that if you live next to a highway, your chances of getting cancer are way off the charts, especially if it's an older home where it's lots of ventilation, it's air leaks into your house. Because, like I always thought, all that tire shit just went into the asphalt. No, and they've got new cameras now that can see that shit in the air. Yeah. And it's bad. And they're like, yeah, all this lung cancer that people are getting there, that's not from because they're smoking. That's because they're breathing in the artificial tire stuff that is turning into microplastic rubber shit.
Literally.
I was like,
breaking.
Nope.
When you break and all that tire
compound.
Vapor. When you basically break,
the brake dust.
Not just the brake dust, but also the rubber dust. So when you break, it breaks off microplastics and it shoots up into the air. and like I was sitting there. I remember I was in an accident this weekend on Saturday.
I forgot to ask you about that.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. That's why I'm actually on the phone dealing with people. But I ended up, like, I looked at it, and the guy behind me braked. I braked, right? Because the car just cut in front of us. And he was at fault. Luckily, I had a guy who was behind me who chased after the guy. 'Cause I don't know if the guy would have turned around and been honest, but we'll see what's up. But long story short, it was just one of those moments that as I was interacting with people and I'm looking around and I started noticing all the tire marks on the street. And I was like, wow, like this is kind of,
Yeah.
this is right in front of my face.
Awful.
I said, yeah. And those tire marks, every time somebody hits a tire mark, that's micro plastics going into the air.
The dudes, I was reading a story about the guys that work, they take precautions now, but in the past, people would just do the burnouts at drag strips, just, and there was guys that worked the drag strips for 20 years, and they all got lung cancer from all that stuff. A lot of them smoked too, so as they say, correlation isn't causation. But the point is that it's like if you breathe anything except natural air, your lungs are going to be like, not so much. And let's face it, we didn't evolve breathing unnatural things, or at least petroleum-based products. We didn't even breathe our own piss. You peed outside for millions of years. Now you lean over the toilet and you breathe your own excrement. People pooped in the river. And took that stuff away. They poisoned the people downriver. But all the things you breathe in now, we didn't grow up with a filtration system in our lungs to handle that. We created all these chemicals, asbestos, all that kind of stuff. El no goodo. It's my Spanish-o of the day-o.
That's funny. But ultimately, like, this is Maha. I love the fact that Maha is really kind of touching on all these things. You know what I'm saying?
Pedro, my chart here is I haven't been reconciling. I've been looking at my chart and also our graphics here, and the pricing. All of us, usually the futures price is higher than the spot price. For the past, when I went back and looked at the charts, it should have been an omen that the futures price started sinking before the spot markets. And then all of a sudden, when Mikester posted that it was 107, I was like, I'm looking at my thing. I'm like, he must have something crazy going on, because mine's still. Mine said it was lower. It was like 106, 107, something. I was like, something's not making any sense. And now my futures chart is at 106.9, and the spot price is once again much higher than it. So it looks like and there's just a big red candle. I think we're looking at the market's anticipating it going down more.
Sorry.
It's all right though. Markets need to go down after they go up.
Yeah, I'm super paranoid with my head getting dented in. I'm serious, dog. Like, have you seen those?
Dented heads? Yeah, they usually have toe tags on.
Toe tag? I'm sorry, I missed that.
The toe tag is when you're in the morgue and your name's on your toe.
Oh, dented. I'm talking about the guys who keep wearing the headpiece, and then they literally have dented heads. It's in the algorithm now, because I was looking at some videos of like people, streamers, and people like that. And so I'm like super paranoid. I'm like, I got to figure out a way so I can speak to you guys without having a dent in my head down the road. I was thinking about getting they have those like giant speakers that kind of come down like a boom mic, like how you have. I've been looking at those to see.
I mean, like
you got right there.
This thing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm using the wireless mic today, my body mic instead. I can move around more.
Yeah,
get dance.
Get your dance.
Rolling Rod in the house. Happy Hump Day. It literally, it's Hump Day. Look at the let me bring up my chart here. You look at this chart here, which is the 5-minute chart. It's literally Hump Day.
It's a Hump Day. There you go.
So thanks, Mikester, for the investing.com price. Yep, the spot price
You know, it's interesting. I said, "How you liking the show?" And he goes, "I love the show." September, when you're having technical difficulties, but I know stuff happens. I said, except I don't know, except when you're having tech, or are you saying that you love it when we have technical difficulties? He's like, he's all, y'all suck. Anyways, appreciate you no matter what, guys. Every one of you guys, if you could do us a quick favor, hit that heart button, that thumbs up button. That helps us out again, especially on Rumble. When you guys, I got what you meant. I knew what you were saying, Mikey. But in the same sense, I was sitting there and I was looking at the market the other day, and I was watching how things are actually moving. Not the other day, it was yesterday. And I was like, man, all these, if they were to drop this market, all of those guys, all of those, what they would drop it, this would be like the flash crash that I've been expecting, right? Where they just drop it because there's so many people that are just bought in. And once if it comes back down to that 75,000, like let's say we don't create an all-time high, a new high, we go right just above it or right below it, and then we start to see a sell-off, kind of like what we're doing right now. This is atypical, like stuff that they do. They get people just to foam in at the last minute. Like, look, here's the high, right? This is it right here. This is it. They come in. Oh wait, did we create? Give me 1 second.
Just for shits and giggles, now the spot price is once again lower than the futures price.
Oh snap! This is all-time. That was all-time high.
We did hit the all-time high.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He literally, dude, look. Oh, I forgot to do this too because this would have been such an epic trade. I normally looked for the buyers, right, of buying in to push it up, but look, this is a great example of how we went that play we always talk about, right? Where they literally tap it right above or below something.
Yep.
Right, and then they bring, because all these people jumped in, all of these buyers. Oh, we're going all-time high, and they literally dropped it 3% from the top. It went from 59.59, or excuse me, 109.59 to like now it's coming down to 106.88 or 888. Sorry about that. 590. And it's just such a easy play. I mean, it's not an easy play because sometimes you get stopped out, but it's one of those things that you just, if it's like the first time to test, of like an all-time high or like the break of this low, they always flip it because the old-time traders, what they would do is they would like if you're on the floor, they would tap it. And they know that traders would come in and sell off if they're trying to drop it, and institutions would then just buy up all those things. And so there was these orders that would sit in the order book knowing that once they drop it below here, you're going to get a lot of buyers. And so there hasn't anything really changed much here, except for from an institutional standpoint, they use computers versus like actual humans looking at waiting for the buyers. But human nature is still the same thing. So it's just funny. It's not funny, but it's
right. I got you.
Oh no, not a freeze up. Oh, looks like we got a freeze up.
No, I launched the sound effects program and it just froze the thing for just a minute there. It's fine now.
Got you. Okay, perfect. Alrighty then. Boom. So now it's kind of looking like it. Are you sure?
Oh, nope, does appear to be frozen. Let me bring this back up. That's weird. The It should be coming back here. There we go. All right, it's coming back.
There we are. All right, excellent.
Wait, this just this small sound. I gotta find another one. The sound effects program just
Why can't I tag anymore? Bro.
Let's see if Pedro can hear it.
I can hear it. Yep, rumbling up. Okay. So let's go ahead here real quick and see where this is potentially could go. So if they want to continue this down, we could actually see it come back down to about this 104 area. And then from there, we'll find out what's up. But I was hoping we could get above to that 115. I was so open. I was just like, but I said, that's why I brought this up of that 110 area to that 120 area, because they might have a pullback because you've got all these people coming in at those all-time highs. Real quick, can anybody check to see if our good old boy bought? I'm almost like curious to see if he came in and bought the market and then they just sold off on him.
Oh, that would be funny if that was true. I'm looking at CoinDesk and I don't see anything.
All right, it's just something that I would expect it. I would be like, did Michael Saylor buy? Oh, strategy.
Texas passed their BTC Reserve Act. That's good. That's a second state now after I just reported on the other state the other day, Pedro, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I forget it too. Exactly.
It was a small state, not a big one. But that's good for Texas. Texas is the 9th largest. If breaking out states into the world economies, they're the 9th largest economy in the world. Texas economy, similar to New York State's economy, when you include Wall Street and all that type of stuff, both of which are larger than the country of Russia.
Oh, wow.
I know. All we do is complain about Russia, and Russia this, Russia that, and their economy this, their economy that. And that's like saying, we're not doing business with New York. Put sanctions on New York. And maybe that Texas, too.
My PC is being a PC.
Welcome, X viewers. Thanks to everybody for tuning in on X. Really appreciate it. Could see that there was a little bump there in viewers. I don't know why, because we don't get many views on X anymore. They changed the algorithm there, and I haven't figured it out. But we put in our time there and our dues.
Maybe it could be that they were like, you know what, those guys right there keep grinding, and we're just gonna hook them up with a ton of views, and all of a sudden it's just like bam, like thank you, have a good day, thank you, Mr. Musk, thank you, X, you guys rock the mic. If you want to throw a couple more our way, if you guys are watching us over on X, hit those, jump on in, a couple comments. You actually have to double click on the screen so you can actually get us. So yeah,
I'm trying to figure out. I pull these graphics from CoinGecko, and it's the spot price, and it's been significantly off of Mexi's spot price. Usually they're pretty close. Very weird. And I don't have delayed pricing. I've got real-time pricing. Oh, that's something I'll put down and look into later. But anyway, what an interesting day, ladies and gentlemen. It's always fun when we hit a new all-time high, and we hit it by what, $75 or something like that, Pedro, or by not very much.
Yeah. Let me see here, see what it is. So it was 770, 777. So about 200 points
Yeah.
here.
The shorts wrecked us.
180.
Well, we still hit the new all-time high, but the shorts that came in, and a lot of people do that. They put in, and you could, if I had Bookmap open right now, or if I had it open while that was going on, there probably was a lot of short orders up there ready to go, and way too many for the price action to push through them and liquidate them. Because that's a natural move. There's probably been orders there at 109, 250 or 300 for since whenever it was at that last time. When was the last all-time high, Pedro?
It was, give me 1 second, February. Oh, excuse me, 20th of January. That's
so
interesting.
on the 21st of January,
Election day. Or not election day.
Inauguration day.
Inauguration day.
Really, they pumped it, and then after he says, "I swear," they dump it. all I know is that all the people that were complaining, oh my God, I got to tell you, Pedro, we said it on this show what was going on. And I'm not taking credit that I came up with this genius idea. I listened to a lot of people. And then I heard Mark Rubio, who I'm just calling Michael Corleone now. He is 100% Michael Corleone. He's a little short guy, speaks with that nice accent, and he's slow and like he's whispering. Listening devices are in the area.
He really does.
He does. He rocks it. He rocked it the other day. But when he was talking about the economy tanking after they talked about tariffs, and everyone's saying, "You and Trump's ruining our 401ks. Everyone's broke. Grandparents are going to be on the street. Parents are broke. How that blah. Everything's broke." And of course, the prices. NASDAQ did go down to 14,000 and some, which was a 25% correction temporarily. And he said the most amazing thing that made so much sense. He said, of course they're selling. The market's taking money out of the companies that have huge exposures to tariffs, like Walmart, even Amazon, big, all that source tons of stuff in China. And they're looking for the new companies. So they're pulling their money out first, putting it into cash. He said, and they're going to put their money into companies that have less, a smaller tariff footprint or exposure to it, and the market will return. And that is exactly what happened. I mean, the BTC has been mirroring the NASDAQ pretty closely, and it's exactly what happened. And if you want to pull that chart up, Pedro, or S&P, whatever.
NASDAQ right here.
Yeah, and so interestingly, NASDAQ didn't come back up as much.
But still acting.
But still, look at these down here. It came all the way down. The best buy the dip here, and I know people that sold. They sold right there. Here, they sold. They're like, oh, I better get my money out. Like, no, buy more. That's where you buy more, right there, right where my finger is. Oop, 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 oop. Right, and that's the sweet spot right there. If you know what I'm doing there, right there.
No, give me a second. Let me look at it right now because this is actually U.S. 20-year bond.
Crypto Mike in the house. What's happening? Crypto Mike. That's right.
U.S. 20-year bond action. But this has been happening lately. If crypto, I'll put it like this. I do expect crypto, a lot of the stable coins to actually really start buying bonds. If they do not, or there's a slowdown in crypto, then what's going to happen is people will then be like to show you notifications for the latest update. No, thank you. Typically what's going to happen then is nobody's going to want a need for the U.S. bonds. So it's real interesting to see what's actually happening. I would love to know the exact number of people coming into buying. We talked about on Monday, Circle being acquired by
Ripple?
Ripple, yeah. Or Coinbase, right? Was it right. Coinbase or Ripple?
Or Coinbase, yeah. Rumors of both.
Yeah. And so it was really interesting to see like this idea of is this real? Well, if crypto is slowing down, which doesn't, I mean, just don't know right now. Like I just didn't trust this rally because of just some of the volume coming in over the last, few weeks.
Point remains, Mr. Rubio, and by default me, because I parroted his words, was correct. That he said in a very short period of time, the market will figure itself out. The risk will move around, and I expounded on it by saying, look, they got to put their money somewhere. People pull back to cash for a little bit, and then they're like, there's an emotional factor in Wall Street too. They're like, has it been long enough? How's the news cycle? Mr. Musk kind of quieted down a little bit, and all of a sudden, boop, 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 and it goes back up because they got to put that money somewhere. And they can only put it in so much real estate because it takes too long. Real estate trails the markets by 6 months to 2 years because it takes so long to build things. New companies and startups, that takes forever. So they're sitting on piles of cash and they see the market just with a little glimmer of hope. And then the bosses say, put the cash back in the market. And they put it back in the market in slightly different baskets of stocks. And boom, this happens. And maybe that's a good point. NASDAQ didn't go up as much because people took their money out of a lot of NASDAQ companies or S&P companies have exposure to tariffs. And so where they put the money back in might not necessarily been as much and put it into some items that were not in the top stocks.
I would agree with that. I think that's actually a good analysis. Also, I think the idea behind what's actually happening in crypto itself, like they know that there is this adoption side of happening, and so potentially we could simply see that people are trying to sell off positions, hoping they may go down lower, just to bring in kind of the newer people potentially.
Going lower.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, this man just went to the bathroom, dude. I'm looking. I'm like, how are you in the bathroom, dog? But then I realized you're not. It's a sound. Yeah. We good. We're good. You're good. Oh, that's funny. That's actually real funny.
Do not come.
Do not come.
Do not come.
I'm gonna coming.
I had to try and make you laugh when you were coughing there to make it worse.
Yeah. We're freezing up again for whatever reason.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Crypto.com. Maybe I just need a
freezing up.
Give me a second. No, we're good.
And rip to George Wendt to everybody. I'm a little older than many of our viewers here. I used to watch Cheers every Thursday. Yeah. And Norm has passed.
Oh, pouring out for the homie. Norm.
What's up, Norm? My ideal weight if I was 11 feet tall. Norm, how's it going out there? Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear. That's my two favorite lines.
He made up his role. He came in, and they were not going to make his role. He was the mailman. And they're like, well, you need the know-it-all in every bar. There's no way that you cannot have a know-it-all in a bar. And,
right.
And they were like, oh, and he goes, and by the way, I'd be really good. And so the way he was all, well, like that right there. I mean, imagine going in. That's like
Cliff was the know-it-all.
Oh, was it? It was Cliff?
Yeah, he was the mailman, Cliff. George Wendt was the big fat guy, Norm.
Oh, yes. Norm, who was a good listener. No, the good listener was the guy with glasses. The Norm was the guy curly hair.
Right.
Would wear the yellow or the brown
jacket.
Wade jacket.
Yeah. And he was 400 pounds.
Yes.
Oh, so such an awesome show.
Yeah. Tony Danza. He was another one. That's what made his career.
No, Ted Danson, not Tony Danson.
Ted, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ted
yeah, totally.
Yeah, thank you. And then who's the other guy who the bar back?
Woody Harrelson played.
That made his career.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Crypto Mike says no more Da Bears. No, we don't. Yeah, because he did on Saturday Night Live played the character Da Bears, and but now Mike, we have Da Pope. Chicago's got Da Pope.
Oh, I caught it. I was slow there. I was like, what?
God, the other day at Wrigley Field, the bleachers were all full of everyone in Pope outfits and stuff, and Cardinals outfits, and a bunch of them, like, it must have been a group, like 20 guys in Cardinals and girls in red Cardinals outfits, and one guy in a white Pope thing, and they would, every time something good would happen to them, they'd turn around and bless themselves and bow down to him and stuff.
It is so good, dude. Humans are so smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roland Rod says, hit that like button and share this space. Please do that. Please do it. It helps the algorithm. Helps us when you give us your money. Helps us when you hit the like button. Helps when you share. You click the share button and copy the link. That helps. But if you put it in an incognito browser and hit enter and activate that link, helps even more. So please do that.
Yes, immensely. So one of the things I want to bring up here real quick, especially when it comes to this market, like I there are these ones, if we do see a sell-off, which today is just simply, it could, honestly, if this market today, I want to be careful saying this, if we hit this peak, which is basically all-time high right here, and we close basically like this, there is a good chance.
This is the daily chart here.
Yeah, this is the daily chart, because this is
still a sexy chart, even with today's just little mini dump off here.
3, 4. We could come back down to tap that, finish off the week with, what is the weekly wick? Yeah. How is that possible? Give me 1 second. Let me see. It's a weekly. You right there?
Yeah, I'm kicking my computer. The water cooling fans. One of them's decided to vibrate, and if you give it a little kick, it goes away.
Dude, they messed. Oh, I forgot. I keep forgetting. They don't count Sunday. Okay, so it's Monday then. So this was the week. Boom. Huh, that's interesting.
Well, did you change the time zone on your computer? No,
that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So remember, I've always talked about how crypto used to be on the correct turning time frames.
Yeah.
Right. They were all synced. Well, not anymore. Like, they're not synced at all. And so it gives you the wrong wicks, right? And so now on the daily and your weekly, it's actually off, because your futures wick, right, from the real institution side, starts on Sunday
at 8 p.m. roughly Eastern, right? Or at midnight?
No, 6, because the futures opens up at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me, Eastern Time.
Eastern Time, right.
Yeah, you're about to punch me. Eastern Time, it opens up at 6 o'clock Sunday. So if you really want the correct timing, okay, of the market and what it looks like, what you want to do, this is what you see on the CMEs. And the reason why this is important, because big banks trade the CME contract. Right? It's one contract of Bitcoin roughly is about, what was it? It's 3. So you can spend, basically, you can deploy $1,000 and you can basically move 3 contracts of Bitcoin, or 3.
Yeah, it's 3 contracts, right?
Yeah. 3 Bitcoin. Is it 3 or 5? Either way.
Yeah.
So these guys, instead of having to deploy $100,000 for 1 Bitcoin, you deploy $1,000 to get access to 5 Bitcoin. And so what happens is, by you understanding that, they will specifically spend a lot of money there to move this market. And I said, and I want to say, I don't want to use the word I said, but I hypothesize that there's no way that they're going to allow, if crypto does get adopted, that they're going to keep things the way they need to. So if you really want to catch the real wick, okay, we had a small wick, and I forgot about this. This is actually my fault with you guys, because I said, oh, I would go to the wick this week, and I go, oh, we got a good wick here, we're good. But the reality is the real wick is this small wick right here. This is where the actual wick is. And I was thrown off a little, and in the back of my mind, I said, that doesn't seem right. But I was like, I'm in the middle of the show. We were doing a Monday. And then and it was funny, is I was even looking at the CME futures, and I was like, oh, we got a small wick. And I didn't put two and two together.
Wait, so if you look at the CME daily chart or weekly or whatever chart, and then go look at MEXI or BidFi or whomever's chart of their perpetual contract.
Completely wrong, because they start their week on Monday. You following me?
Yeah, but I'm confused because.
Okay.
No, I mean I'm totally following you, but I'm confused as the dates and times in my head for things.
All right, let me just see if I can make this simple. Okay, what time? 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is what time for you, typically? 6 o'clock in the evening would be 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
Well, I'm in Eastern Time now, so it would be 6 would be 6.
Okay, so let's say 6 o'clock. Now, 6 o'clock on the CME, okay, CME futures, you start the week. So it doesn't start on Monday. It starts at 6 o'clock on Sunday, Eastern Time. You following that?
Yeah. I get it.
Okay, now we're going to speed. Now time passes.
Mm-hmm.
On this chart, okay, they start it for Monday. You following that?
And that's a trading view chart from whom?
From, it doesn't matter. They're all that way because it's based off of trading view. And trading view is literally the largest platform in the world.
Right.
Everybody and their mama uses it. So well, not everybody and their mama, but like any like respectable trader is not going to use trading view. Actually, let me phrase that. I actually know people who do, but they don't. They use it, but they actually have a secondary platform that they can use. But they use the stuff that's going on right now. Like they'll use, what's the word I want to use? They will use, because the ease of being able to get into a trade on TradingView is simple and easy. But they don't take their data, like their contracts. So let's say I'm going through, okay, and I want to leave my trading platform, right? But I'm going to leave. I'll be back later, maybe 3-4 hours, to see how my trade went. Well, what I'll do is I will then look at, I will link my trading view with my actual trading account.
Right.
Because you can actually post, you can link in if you.
As long as you have a firm that does that.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Well, most of them.
Right. Most of them do that.
Yeah. So you're able to get in and get out of a trade simple and easy without having to have two accounts or have to pay for accounts. And it's not that big of a deal. But the fact is that TradingView is solid like that. Like you can get in and get out. You don't have any issues, and it's simple. So that's what will happen. So the reason why I'm bringing this up here now, let's bring this up. You can see here the Monday right here was the day. Okay, so now let's go to Monday and see when the start of this was, of that candle, which is gonna be right here, and that is Saturday. Wait, what?
Oh no, my brain just leaked out my ears.
doesn't make sense.
All right, I'm going to. Is that Trading View or Mexi? All right, now I'll get Trading View.
I'm gonna remove this here real quick. Okay, Monday. So this is Sunday. All right, Sunday, Monday. Boom, Monday right here. That's where I made the mistake. Okay, Monday. So let's see, Monday the 19th. We're gonna come right here now. Monday the 19th. New York time. So they start their day Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening, which is right here. Now I'm wondering, am I tripping?
Pedro be tripping.
Let's check out.
Why is my... I don't use TradingView that much because I'm new to it, but I see how you get frustrated by it.
Mm-hmm. And part of me feels like it's nefarious what they do. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Because it used to be set up perfectly. That's actually one of the reasons why I switched to crypto, because I was like, oh, nice.
It's the same.
The charts are supposed to be the way they're supposed to be. Yeah. All right. So that's really interesting. Pricing. It's right here. That doesn't make sense.
Let's see.
So what I'm letting the audience know is whenever you trade, one of the most important things to look at is timing. Your timing in which, because remember I keep talking about this, that your wicks are created by the time change. And so when you see the market, you know how we put in our zones, right? Okay, this zone is this and this zone is this. Is based so it's based off of two things. One, time, right? Two, volume. So if I see within a wick or an area where I can actually expect the market to go down to, look at the volume and see what's actually going to happen. And so many times that's what I'm looking at when you see me combing through the actual charts here. So one of the things I always tell is I want to sit there. I tell you guys, I go, where's the volume? There's not enough volume in this wick, because when you look at the, time changed from 4 o'clock, or excuse me, from 2 o'clock right here to 3 o'clock, and then we saw this huge explosion up here, right? This area here should have a good amount of volume. So then when I go to my 2 hour, I want to see something similar. And many times I used to be able to sit there and see that in the market here with Bitcoin, because the time chains were really important. And then you can see here now, like on this time, so 12, we'll do right here.
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass.
Ooh, you promise? All right. So, dude, what is up with that? Are you playing with these? What time zone is everyone on here?
I was just asking. Crypto Mike said he was on 6 hours behind -6, and Mike, sorry, you're -5.
There you go.
During the winter, you are -6. Right now, you're a -5. Because I'm in Eastern time. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Are you in Mountain Time? No, you're in Central Time. You're in Winnipeg. That's Central Time.
So frustrating. It's just by 1 hour, 2 hour. But that switch is this is why you get stopped out. This is why a lot of people, when they use TradingView, you get stopped out. And
that 1 hour is price action.
That happens that you do not. 2 hours at the beginning of the week. This right here, whereas the S&P 500 or not the S&P 500, but the CME chart is different by 2 hours at the weekly chart, and then 1 hour difference on every day on daily charts, and it's a big difference. So, and if you're going to trade, you need to make sure that you're using volume charts, not volume charts. What do you call those things? Those bubble map thing?
Bubble maps?
Is it bubble maps or volume bubble maps?
Bubble maps. Usually the bubble maps I've looked at just show price change over what period of time you enter.
Oh, I got you.
A heat map? Like book map?
Dude, I love our show, bro. I'm so glad we're on it here. I'm for real. I love our show. Sorry, I just saw somebody just come in. Our show rocks the mic. It's UT Canada. All right. So yeah, and that small difference can throw that is what takes people out. Or you ever wonder, like, man, I keep getting stopped out, and that is the reason why. And they're good. Most people don't even know that is a major. That's a powerhouse of a move.
I was trying to look at that difference too, and I brought up a TradingView chart and then a MEXI chart, and to me the candles looked exactly the same, and I don't know how to test the difference.
Yeah, it's actually a sad moment. I'm not joking, dude. Like, can I change on MEXI? Can I change the action? No, I can't, because they pull from TradingView. So they have the same mechanisms. That sucks.
Need to research this, but not on the air.
yeah, not on the air. But long story short, we're seeing the sell-off of Bitcoin. We're seeing it kind of come down. It hit literally that all-time high here, and now it's just kind of playing around. I'm just curious to see how much volume does Coinbase have. Interesting. But this is why I absolutely love my, wait, where did it, oh, here it is, boom. This one right here. Aggregate trade dot. This one right here, man, is so dope, because this actually trades. This is all at the correct timing, where it needs to be, how it needs to be. It's perfect. It is perfect.
Sounds like you've been comparing a bunch of women. They're like, yeah, pretty close, but this one is perfect.
Honestly, I actually had a friend of mine who said to me, you look at charts like you would look at a woman. And I'm like, I get the same feeling. Like, I was like, I need to have, if I ever do really start to date again with women, man, excuse me, I'm not gay. What I meant was, I've stopped dating for like years. I mean, literally years.
Oh, no, skip that part. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the reason why I'm saying that is because if or when I do start to date again with a woman, I need her to be a trader. Like, I need it. Like, I need her to be a trader, because she's not gonna
talk about a niche market.
I know. This is what I'm trying to say. It's like, this is why I can't even really date somebody because they're not traders, and they're not going to understand that need to trade. I see guys who married, well, they married before they got into trading, and their wives are just like, why do you spend so much time on there? It's not even a video game.
Right. It's like you just gotta suck it up and get a tiny little office somewhere, and put the newspaper under your arm. I'm going to work, honey.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, he goes to work every day. What a responsible guy. I have the best relationship. I married the perfect guy. Yet if you sit in front of your computer at home and do the exact same thing, he just sits around all day in his underpants and blah, 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 blah. He doesn't do nothing. He ain't no good. You're doing the same thing, one in her sight and one not in her sight.
Yes. Yeah.
This way, you're a hero. This way, you ain't do nothing.
I'll put it like this. I had a friend of mine. So he's probably worth maybe $400 million.
That's a good friend to have.
Dude's a nut though. He's got literally, he's nuts. Anyways, I don't need to say anything. The reason why I bring this up is, so he built, so like you said, before he got married, he literally, he was chilling in his underwear, trade, The moment he got married, within like maybe a year after, she'd be like, are you done? Like, are you gonna get ready for today? Are you? And he's just like, woman, you knew me that I was gonna be like this. Like, nothing's changed. She's like, and she just kept nagging him after almost like 3 years, 4 years.
Get out. Like that meme. Get out.
Dude, look, you looking for a unicorn.
This guy is on the search for Uber. That's what he's looking for.
So I say this because he ended up building another part on his property. Well, it's more like a
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He ended up, and so he'd go out, he'd take a shower, boom, got out, would go to his little area.
Come back for lunch. Home for lunch, honey.
Yeah.
What a good husband. You come home and see me at lunch.
Like, legit. And she even knew it. Like, she knew it. But the idea that he was out making money for the family. And here's the thing. He's still bringing in like 5 million, 8 million, 10 million a year. But just the difference behind. And I even said, I was like, does she get that her lifestyle, that she married? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. She goes, I didn't marry you for money. I married you for you. I mean, I get it. I can understand that. It makes sense to me, but
Pedro, it's easy to test that shit. You say, all right, here, can I have your Black American Express card? Thank you very much. Snip. Your debit card for that account? Snip. Okay, and here's your debit card for the other bank where there's only $100 a week in it. And then we'll see about that. And then she'll be like, wait, honey.
No, because
sit in front of that computer all you want.
He's in a state where she could step away getting, I think, what was it, like $50,000 because she's accustomed to a lifestyle now, and so that alimony is real.
Wait, I thought all 50 states had done away with alimony.
Did they? I don't know. Like,
I thought that was finally, that was it. It's like, unless you never had a skill, like you would be destitute.
I don't know. That's what he said.
All I know is in Illinois or Ohio, 2 states I have familiarity with the divorce laws. there was none of that shit.
Well, maybe you're right. I don't know. I just know we talk about it. But either way, he just says it's cheaper to keep her. So I'm like,
cheaper to keep her. Anyway, I had a similar issue with This is Striking when I spend a lot of time. As you know, we talk about just the time this show takes to produce, but at least I'm moving around doing something.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting there, back testing something or developing something else for the show, I just sit and stare at the computer, and it's click, 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 a lot of reading, and I can go hours. I mean, she can go to bed at 8, and it's 2 a.m. all of a sudden, and I'm like, sorry, I was doing something, and then she's like, you're just in front of that computer too much, and this kind of stuff. And then when I was practicing trading, I finally said, look, I'll try and interact with you more. And she's like, that's not the problem. You get the same voice, that I was talking earlier. And then I just showed her my demo trading thing, and I said, this is what I'm doing. This makes money. And all of a sudden she's like, wait, what did that start at? And I was like, it was $1,000. Now it's 2,000. She said, can you do that again? I said, I don't know. I need to practice. That's what I'm doing here. and she's like,
did you tell her you took literally 200 and turned it into 1,200?
Yeah. It sits right here on the screen. I'm not in a room here by myself. She walks by the computer.
Yeah.
And I said, all this time here is me not making money now, but learning my skills. Like, I'm going to Pedro school now, Pedro U, and because I'm going to be at a point where, and I even told her, I said, look, I'm currently not a 7 a.m. guy. I have not been a morning guy since I had certain jobs and certain classes at school. And I said, I'm going to be switching my schedule. Not going to, because she's a later person because her work starts later. So she can stay up till 1 a.m. and her work kind of starts at 10, and so, because she's a lobbyist, so she can't do anything early in the morning because no government officials at their desk. And so she's later. And I said, I'm going to have to start getting up early. Got to change these things. And she's like, all since I said this is about making money, she's like, okay. She gave me the yes, dear, and I was like,
get it,
Tommy going to the money rainbow pod at the end of the rainbow, known as Bitcoin.
But in the same sense, yeah, that's like super important. My biggest concern there is that if she is, will she be cool with everything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, now that I've explained it to her and she knows what's going on, as long as all of this works. If this doesn't work, not cool. if I'm like, all right, honey, we're all into this now, and I am now the day trader and media celebrity du jour, celebrity amongst 6 of you people, then it's great if it works. If it doesn't, then I get the I told you so.
Oh, but that's why I'm so huge. Like, so make sure that you're going through, writing the stuff down, going back and back testing. You need to spend real time and being honest with yourself. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. But you've got to put real work in. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, guess who missed the huge pump today? Again, using a demo account, but this morning I was looking at when I did the top-down thing earlier, it wasn't like I just looked at it. I've been looking at the charts all morning before I left Toronto this morning, and then during the drive, I said to myself, I said, all right, demo account, I'll risk $100 on the market, 100 for 400. And of course, I put it in, and the market started going down a little bit. It was still all in the bull flags. All the conditions were the same, but it went down a little bit, down a few bucks. And I said, you know what? It's probably going to go. It dropped below the 200 period moving average. I said, it's going to go down a little bit more before it goes up. I'm going to sell and get back in at a better price. And I shouldn't have. I should have just left it. Just knowing I was going to be down a few more dollars, but the trade was still a good trade in my mind. I sold it, and I was out, I don't know, $16 or whatever. And the market did exactly what I said. It went down a little bit more, but I was driving. And I had bought when I was at a stoplight. And now I'm on the part of the road where there's no stoplights. So I'm not staring at the numbers on my phone. And I didn't buy, and so I missed the whole thing. Now, again, it was the demo account, but the fact that I missed it isn't the point. The point is that my validation of the trade was right. And so what I did is I took that and I even wrote that down, even though I didn't do it. But I was like, I would have done it.
That is 90%. It's understanding that your evaluation of what the day will most likely do is going to, and if you add a high percent, listen, all you got to do is 51%. You got to be 51%, or you can be even 30%. But your winners, if you can get literally a 4-to-1 ratio, because when you win big, right? Basically, you risk 100, you make 400. If you can do that, then you start to, and then what you do is you will, as you get better and better and better, let's say you start at 20 or 30%, your risk to reward will only grow. And then what happens is your analysis for the day gets better and better, but it will not get better if you cannot write this stuff down and understand what is happening in the day. I was reading a book. Oh, what was the book? I'm literally reading like 7 books right now. You know me, dude.
Sweet Valley High, Encyclopedia Brown,
Sherlock Holmes, When Harry Met Sally, two Walks on a Golden Beach. And one of the books that was talking about how it's a sports book. It basically talks about how you train athletes, high performers, but in particular athletes. And one of the things that they stopped doing is paying attention to the Sunday Night Football video for the player, and they started recording practice. And in the recording practice, what they were able to do is really analyze where they were messing up, because you play how you practice. And so they started going through and playing. And so the real analyst came in, and they didn't tell the players for a long period in time, like, oh, this is what's going on, is what we need to do. And literally, and that was the other part, is they realized that if they told these guys how to practice correctly, their ego would get in their way. And so because they had tried it prior, and they were like, no, they were fighting with the coaches and stuff. But what they would do is, once they started going through and just recording and saying, oh, we noticed during the game this was actually kind of happening, right? And then what would happen is that the players would then start to kind of make adjustments during practice. And as they were recording everything, they realized that this is where the real skill set really started improving. That's why they say in the last 5-10 years, you just have seen a meteoric growth in sports of just these guys. I mean, just killing it from the 3 line, or their air jump, right? It's so much bigger. It's because of the
video review, recording what they did, go back, looking over it. I mean, that's why our show's so awesome, because I go back and watch it and learn from it. And also, that's why my golf swing is a very good golf swing. Even though right now I don't play much, so my scores just suck ass. From the time I was little and had the Betamax, my grandfather's Betamax with the giant thing on my shoulder and the big camera, we would record my grandfather and I would record each other's golf swings. In just hitting into a net, not even playing golf, just hitting 100 balls into the net. And then we'd record, because it's not like the internet now, you can take 2 golfers and put them next to each other and do whatever you want. But we would record, whatever golf tournament was, and then we would play the golf tournament and back it up and go frame by frame, watching, Jack Nicklaus or whomever back in the day do their swing. And then we'd switch tapes. Now you put them side by side on the computer, and they switch tapes and put my swing.
Right.
Same thing. And my it's easy for me within seconds. Like right now, I can take one video of my golf swing and know where it's different than where it should be in the 69,000 things that go on with a golf swing. And that's where I need to be with trading. I need to be able to look at my data and look at the charts I'm looking at and go, all right, this is a red flag for me here. The chart says Tuesday and I just lost money, but my data says I never make money on Tuesday. Why is that? And
exactly. And then what you do is you then look for things that are not just familiar, but that are patterns. So what you do is you then look for patterns. Meaning, all right, so for example, let's say it's Tuesday, right? And you're sitting there going, okay, every single Tuesday I keep just getting jacked up. And then you realize, oh, Monday and Tuesday, or Sunday and Monday, they picked and put the supply wick or demand wick in, and then on Tuesday it was a sideways day.
Yep.
And you can
Tricked
see
me.
Yeah. And so as it was going down, that day they went sideways, and then the next day they went up because they were basically going through. And so on that Tuesday, you said, oh, so I need to, when I take a trade, instead on Tuesday thinking that the market's going to extend and get a 4-to-1, I'm now looking to get a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1. And if I get a runner, I get a runner. Right? But on Tuesdays, typically on a percentage level, that the market is done putting in that bottom wick or the top wick based on what it's going to do for the week. And now it's going to turn around and go up. And in analyzing that, you're then able to see the pattern of this and how this same pattern recognizes here. And then you can then take advantage of that. There is a trader. I listened to this guy. There's a podcast on trading, and this guy talks about it. It was actually my coach was actually talking about it, but I listened to that podcast. Me and him listened to, and there was another trader in the group. We were talking back and forth, and so he mentioned this trader, and he said that this guy has this feeling, and I go, "That's bullshit."
Right.
And he go, and the other person goes, "Wait." And then he goes, nah, he's right. It's bullshit. There is no such thing as feeling in trading. An accurate real trader, you have to quantify that feeling and put it into statistics. You have to take something that is arbitrary and make it quantifiable.
Right.
By putting statistics around it or putting rules behind it so you can narrow in what you need. And so, yes, he has this feeling that he's seen 1,000 times. But if you can't, or he's seen something 1,000 times, so now he has this feeling of something maybe happening. But really is that your algorithm in the back of your mind is telling your prefrontal cortex, hey, we're coming up to this thing because of this. And until you take from the subconscious mind, you ask anybody who's been through trauma, and bring it to the prefrontal cortex and analyze it and put rules behind it, it's willy-nilly.
Well, I heard one person describe it to me in more simple terms. They just said, if you're looking at the market and looking at the news, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get a good feeling about today, then you're probably going to lose your money. But if you're looking at your data, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, my data is giving me a good feeling, and there's my model in setup is starting to set up, that's the right good feeling. You're like, now I can trade because all of my stuff is going right. Because there's data behind it. Why you have a good feeling? My data says that today has a high probability of making money. Mm-hmm. Yay!
Yes, and that's where you sit there, and that's where like that real winning feeling happens, because you're no longer just based off of, oh man, I hope I win, right? Like, yeah. Oh wait, did we get a?
No, I was just doing that to holler for feeling good.
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. What real winning is that you can sit there and not say, oh, if I win. It's no, my data states that this XYZ should work because of this. And it was one of those moments that once you realize you're not stuck. Like, I'm not meant to be a loser. Right. Like that idea in every man's life or woman's life. I don't know about women. I deal primarily with men. Majority of my interactions.
Yes, Pedro, you've mentioned that the men thing a lot today on today's show.
That's funny. That's funny. What I mean is this: is that the way men, at least when me interacting with, is that a lot of dudes be like, I just suck, right? I'm just going to be a failure, because most men are beaten down, right? And you get about the top 20% of guys, and then you have the echelon of the hierarchy and how it works. And so the top 20% typically say, this was luck. I just worked my ass off, but I really got a lot of luck. That's not the reality. The reality is that
you worked your ass off.
You worked your ass off. And you got some good runs that you learned to go, no, keep this going, keep momentum going, right? And you learn that because, your first time you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, I just got 20,000 views. All right, cool. That will always happen. And then you dry up and go, okay, that didn't work. But what happens is you start to nail in what you're trying to do, and then before you know it, you're hitting singles and doubles every single day because you nailed in. And so that idea behind trading applies everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And like for you, like you've had some big wins in life, but then you kind of, you fumbled them, but then at the same time,
many times.
But here's the dope part behind it, right? Is that you now have like this, you understand like that, like
I have my own data set on my life.
Yes.
Right, I know.
And now you can say like, okay, I'm feeling this, I understand this. All right, let's narrow this in. And I absolutely love being a part of men's lives, man, especially when they start to take off or they actually realize, damn, this is what I want. And when a dude realizes, and I don't care your skill set, I don't care who you are, right? I don't care about how many times you failed in life. I really don't care. When you realize that this is what I want, and I am willing to really work hard for this, anybody can be successful. I mean, literally. A guy named Gandhi sat out in the middle of the freaking desert saying, I'm going to do this for world peace. And the man knew what he wanted with a single-eyed focus. And he was able to, look how much he did by just simply meditating out in the freaking desert. Because when you know what you want,
it all worked out for him.
But what I'm trying to say is this: is very rarely do guys realize what they really want.
I know that because I've had periods in my life where I didn't know, and it equates exactly with stagnation. And then when I did know what I wanted, it equates with either success or working towards a goal. Whether you reach the goal or not, you were working towards it. Anyway, let's switch it up a little bit, Pedro. Here, I've got an article up here that is really interesting, and it is a Trump crypto dinner, and I thought it was another industry dinner, like Ripple and all the boys would be going. Not this type of boys. This crypto dinner Trump is hosting a crypto dinner tomorrow night for the top 220 holders of Trump coin. Of course, it says leading to considerable political outrage. They didn't write this article well here, but I'm going to skip ahead. While no one knows the full list of attendees yet, in order to qualify for the dinner with the president, holders of the Trump coin were required to register and provide their full legal name, and completely dox to not just the president but the Secret Service. And sure enough, Elizabeth Warren and other people immediately came out and said, "Oh my God! All the anonymous people who the North Korean terrorists could be there. Oh my God! Oh my God!" Literally, it says on the press release, if you want to attend, you have to fully dox yourself, and anyone that meets with the president is background checked by the Secret Service. Anyone with any kind of crazy record and all, if the president invites them, they still got to sit over there. And so there's a bunch of interesting people on the list, and of course a bunch of people. The list is not public to us, but a bunch of people have come out in public and said, "Oh, I'm going to be going to the thing." And so, who made the cut? Justin Sun, top holder of Trump coin, is Chinese billionaire Justin Sun.
I knew it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because we said that. I said, this man got to be a big holder. There's no way he's supportive. Go ahead. Keep going. Justin Sun.
Let's see. Appears that something called Meme Core, but it is sending a person. The article doesn't have who it is. A wallet with the username EV and Hard Snipe. EV is claimed to be the wallet behind tokens connected to the music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. But I have a feeling that is not true because that would have been seized by the government. All right, it doesn't have a good list on here of public names, but one of them is a basketball player. Let's see, who is blah, blah, blah. Where was that part of the thing? And they're using a time-weighted average, so you can't just come in and buy $10 million worth to meet with the president. But let's see. Four U.S. lawmakers, along with representatives of watchdog groups, Public Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics, and End Citizens United. End Citizens United. That's a weird name. Plan to hold a press conference to demand a full release of dinner attendees' names and what favors they're getting.
I agree. I actually kind of agree with that, because the reality is I don't like the fact that he's using his meme coin for that.
But Pedro, you're not getting it. All these top holders, they don't need any favors. They just made millions of dollars, and they're crypto people. They're not going to come to the government. Well, I just made $100 million in your meme coin. Could you slide a little thing in the oil industry for me there so I can get a little tax break on my, They're still, maybe they'll ask for lower taxes. Say, hey, could you eliminate the capital gains tax like Texas just did? Did you see that? Texas passed a constitutional amendment that says there can never be capital gains tax, income tax, or transactional tax. Like when you buy and sell a house, there can't be any transfer taxes or anything like that. I don't know how.
I did not see that.
I just watched the governor, Jim Abbott.
I'm about to move to Texas right now.
Yeah. And
I am not joking, Doc.
I'm sure sales taxes will be going up, but no, none of those taxes. No capital gains tax. This is on the state level. You still got to pay federal capital gains.
I understand.
And in Illinois, I live in Illinois, and the capital gains tax is.
But the thing is the property. The key is like you can. There's more land there than there is.
Right.
Open land, open that can be easily developed, easily.
Right. Well, admittingly, Texas had extremely. It does not currently have a capital gains tax, but as more people move from California into Texas, they're ruining the state like it did to Colorado, and so Texas is taking precautions against that and changing their constitution while they have a supermajority. And
Smart.
I know, and Colorado didn't do that, and they're suffering from a bunch of dipshits out there right now.
I actually found a man who just moved to. Who's moving to Colorado from California.
I have friends that have lived there for a long time and are the live off the grid people.
Yeah.
They don't live off the grid, but they could, if they had to, they'd be like, oh, I love living off the grid and not showering for a couple of months. They are pissed. They're like, we don't want, we and one of them left California ages ago because they're like, these people they're not right in the head. Now they're like, they're coming to our state and bringing that same thing. Anyway, Point aside, Texas is an awesome place now. The problem is that it's effing hot. It's got mosquitoes and other bugs as large as my car. And there is not a single place in that entire state where you can walk to a bar or restaurant. You've got to drive. They're trying to put in some trains down there just to link major cities, not even to eliminate people's cars or make those 15-minute cities that the wackos complain about.
So
just to say we need better transit between here and Oklahoma City and better transit between Dallas and Houston. And we're going to put it in train. People are like, oh my God. So they got a little ways to go there, but starting out with no taxes is great. But I'm willing to bet you're going to find a bunch of people on that list that are from Texas because crypto people quickly move to places that have no taxes. Anyway, I thought that was just an interesting article and stuff. Once again, thanks to everybody watching. We've had a pretty decent crowd on Rumble today. Later in the show, Rumble must have given us a little love on the algorithm or something. YouTube, it's been a strange one for us today.
Yeah.
But
you know what's interesting about Texas? I'm not to be jump back here, but they believe I hope they also do the same thing with their gun rights, because they have such free, open gun right. Like if they do not secure that, then they're going to become like either New York or California. Whereas like the open carry, you've got to have no bullets in it, and you've got to make sure that if they need to think about that ASAP, because the reality is this, man, is. People, it's going to be like the wild west again. I think they need to make sure that they I feel like Texas is really like its own nation. It really is.
They treat themselves like that. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they were literally ready to, they went and shut down the border. And then Biden was like, if you don't, we're going to like come in and shut it. We're going to go open it up for you.
And they were like, bring it.
They really were. I mean, their National Guard, they said, we got our National Guard. And then I forget how many states, but I want to say it was like 15 or 20 states jumped up and said, we've got Texas back with our National Guard too. If you want to, if you push comes to shove, like it was like we were on the brink of literally civil war with the border. And most people don't even know that. Like I think we talked about that multiple times, but just that idea.
Yeah. And they very few people understand that in most states, I won't say all of them because I don't know that to be true, but in most states, the highest law enforcement officer that has authority over all law enforcement activities is the sheriff in that county. And the federal agents operate in those counties under the auspices of the sheriff, meaning with his approval, and it's implicit. They don't have to ask for permission. It's like, it's an understood thing. But every once in a while, a sheriff doesn't like what's going on. Usually it's after the government doesn't inform him what's going on with something. He tells them out. Either get out, or then the government says, well, we can operate, but we just can't operate armed or, under the authority of law, which means they can't carry guns or badges, but they can still do surveillance and stuff. And that happened in Colorado once. And I thought it was going to happen in Texas, but they used the National Guard instead to say no, we're not doing that. You guys, they went right to the Constitution. They said, look, this says right here, if the federal government doesn't do it, we can do it. And the government was like, there's no problem, federal government, no problem here. And they're like, there's 10 million people in line to get in right here. It's an invasion. No. These are people, they're just using an app to come here. Yeah.
They're asylum seekers, bro. Don't you know? I mean, that drug dealer, that MS-13 is fleeing Mexico because Mexico's trying to imprison them. El Salvador is trying to imprison them, bro, for them just doing their
I need asylum. They're going to put me in jail for running drugs. Oh, well, here, come on in.
That's pretty much it.
Another crypto founder abducted. It's happening all the time now. It's a crime spreading a lot. This time in Uganda. Once again, these crypto founders, they don't grow up with money, so they don't understand. They have to isolate themselves and keep themselves safe. People that grow up with money know how to act and go about society without getting kidnapped because they don't do things that showcases how much money they got. They don't talk about it, and they have a private life. And he's forced to send someone 500 G's at gunpoint. And it happened. It happened again. Where was it? They kidnapped someone's daughter. And said, "Send us the money." And I don't know. I don't want to talk about personal things, but I spent a lot of time in the defense and security business. I've been through the counter surveillance classes, anti-terrorism, kidnap classes, and all those types of things.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot. You learn a lot about those things. And people that make new money, I'm fortunate. I went through those classes because all my clients were doing it, so I did them with my clients. And these crypto people have no experience. Most of the people were not wealthy when they founded something in crypto, or they just bought Bitcoin early, so they were able to fund a company at a couple of $1 million because they bought Bitcoin in 2013. And they've never, they operated quietly and independently for a long time until they found that company. And suddenly they're in the news that, crypto millionaire Jim Smith, blah, blah, blah. And you see him out at the clubs in Vegas or something, acting like Pimp Daddy. And then the Russian mafia is like, oh, that's an easy one. That's a no-brainer there. But if they say crypto founder, blah, 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 at his house in the Hamptons, and he's using his private helicopter to go to his unknown house, the mafia guys are going to say, that one's too difficult, let's move on. And that's how that works. And so these people, I bring it up a lot on this show, Pedro. Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. You got to watch your ass.
It really is. That's why I actually have a friend of mine. He is a major crypto guy. He's a founder of a security company. He was the same company it's called WeChat is the company name that I talked about Friday. I couldn't remember what it was.
Oh, I thought you were saying your friend founded WeChat. I'm like, oh, is he with the CCP?
No, not WeChat. WeChat. WeCheck.
Oh, WeCheck.
CHECK. WeCheck. I realized that sounded the same. I was like, oh wait, it's called WeCheck. And what it is an algorithm that, like I've talked about, like on Monday.
I remember the conversation. Right.
Yeah, like they found like pedos who weren't even on the register, and so crazy. But he was just saying, bro, he was telling me, like, when you go into any of these things, you need to take off Bluetooth on your phone, anything that allows you. He goes, if anything, just if you're gonna network with somebody, take a pen and paper and write down your keep your phone, shut off your phone and any disable of it, right? He goes so far. He even said, he goes, grab on your phone around it, like encase it with aluminum.
Aluminum foil, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, yo, keep it there, man. And then really important, so a lot of these key fobs now you can kind of hack. And he was saying, if you got to, like, this is crazy.
You get one of those flippers and it can hack it.
Yeah. And so he's like, put that around, and then what you do is you go in with a piece of paper and pen, and you talk to people like, oh, let me get your number. All right, cool. Boom. You take down the number, right? And everything's cool. And the other thing he goes, never give them an opportunity to hurt you. Like, you don't give, go there with a friend, make sure you're careful, look over your back, when you're leaving, because the crypto is becoming literally, like you said perfectly, that there's all these people who have, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million in their bank account, and
they have direct access to it on their phone.
Direct access,
which is one reason why these custody companies are becoming quite popular.
Yeah,
because you can put all your Bitcoin with Caitlin Long's company, Custodia, and say, this stuff is not available to me this month. You can essentially lock it like a Swiss bank. You can say, I don't care what code I give you or if there's a gun to my head, that money's not releasable, and they don't release it, and that's why you get kidnap and ransom insurance, and you call them instead.
There's actually kidnap and ransom.
K&R, yeah, I've had K&R insurance for a while. I don't now, but when I traveled the world, I had K&R insurance, and they literally, the insurance company contracts out the stuff to control risks and to Kroll and to all the big security consulting firms. Same companies that, like, when a tanker gets hijacked and they call in the team to negotiate with the hostages or with the kidnappers. Same groups. You can literally, it's really cheap too, because very, very few people get it, and most people, they don't pay. Most of the times they get one little clue. And like in France, the past 3 or 4 big public kidnappings, they were able to go rescue them before they had to pay anything.
Which is actually kind of cool. One thing about, and I think what's cool about it, is with any type of thing that's on the blockchain, you can really kind of narrow down this idea of where the person is, especially if they want things sent to them or whatever on the blockchain. And what I love about it is that it flies in the face of this idea of a bunch of all drug dealers and sex traffickers use crypto, and it's like, no,
right?
Actually,
no, they don't.
Quite the opposite. They don't. They're smart enough to know not to use crypto, because when you pull it out, they know where you're at within, and at that point, every nation because they're going to be able to seize that money, right? And so it's like, and then I wonder if companies or police stations or whatever who go in and they're able to pull money, there's always a waiting period, right? Like a year or two, until the court goes through and releases it back to the individual. There's
right.
A few years a lot of times. And so that money could sit into an interest-bearing system that basically...
Well, they're going to stop this guy out. Look at my book map. There's a big stop. Big sell.
Where?
At 107.40, 107.50. I'm sorry, 107.050.
Yeah.
Oh, they look at that. They anticipated it, and they just took him out, and they put in another big stop at 107, 160.
Where are we sitting right now? The big sell-off. It came down to this area here for the weekly or the daily chart. Pull up. Let's see what the S&P 500 is doing here real quick.
Thank you to our various viewers on the various social platforms today. Pedro and I are going to be more regularly at the noon time. We started a little late today because of my lateness in getting in from Toronto this morning.
And we're going to get going on that app that we were talking about.
Yeah, I re-logged into that and got it.
We're going to get that going, and I'll just start jumping on that and posting some trades for you guys to go look at. Again, that is not financial advice. It's just entertainment, educational purposes only, right? And so you guys can go in and just check it out and see what's up. So
this one.
It'll be for our community. So when I'm looking at trades in the morning, I'll be like, all right, guys, check this out. We got these dope stuff. And you guys can post trades as well, what you guys are looking at, and it'll be fun. So it'll be good for the community and helping everybody out when it comes to just, learning kind of what the market does. Also news sources. I want to tell you, I want people to be able to post news sources from around the world. So like they can go through like, oh, this is a cool thing to go look at,
Yeah, it's right now the basics of it has it's kind of like its own Telegram room. Like you could post your trade receipts. You could post an article.
It's actually really cool. On the back end, so can you talk a little bit about the what do you call it? Did you at all look at the news at all?
Not the other than the news I brought up already, but it's also time for me to get going here.
Oh, you gotta go. Yeah. Oh,
it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, dude. Yeah, just said the same. Dude, it flies by. I feel like we don't even say much but just joke around and hang out. But I mean, guys, if you're getting real value out of what we're doing here, and you guys are showing up, which we really do appreciate. Look, it helps us out, and it just takes a little bit of time, especially the guys over on Rumble. If you guys can log in and just say something, hit the thumbs up. If you enjoy the value that we bring to you, it helps the algorithm, especially if you just simply go in and make comments and make real comments like, yo, I don't like that guy with the big old nose and long hair. And so in doing that, just say something. And if you're just making fun of us or whatever, look, I'm a good sport. Especially if you're going to troll me. If you're going to troll me, let's troll. That's always fun for me. So, but either way, come through, say something if you find some value in us, and just do something with us, because again, it helps the algorithm. And if you guys can jump in, especially on Rumble, come in, log in, set up a not a subscription,
an account,
and it's real simple. And then when you log in, it automatically logs you in. We had a big push on Rumble, and I think we were at 89, 85 subs, and we asked, hey guys, jump on in and really push in, and it helped us out. It helped us out a lot, immensely, right? With you guys came in, you became followers, and that actually helped the algorithm to really start to push us. So just want to encourage you guys, if you guys do find some value, to jump in. So what's up? What you laughing at? What you laughing at, Willis?
It's called the beg, plead, and grovel for viewers, ladies and gentlemen, and Pedro and I are damn good at it.
Yes. And plus I want to make it fun. I want to connect. The real reason why I'm doing this is to build a real community with people and to connect with people. And honestly, to talk about real world events, I want to be able to have people from China, right, talking about the CCP. I want to have people who are who are down in Africa, South Africa, Uganda, up in Egypt, right? Or going all the way to Russia, that are maybe in Moscow, and the other one's over next to Kyrgyzstan. No, I messed it up.
Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyzstan is one. You might be thinking of Kazakhstan, but
Kazakhstan, that's what it was. Yeah, but you're right. Kyrgyzstan is another one. And then I would love to have people in India and people that are in Kashmir, right, saying actually this is what's going on and this is and just posting stuff. I mean, I adore that on Mario Nafal. I can't believe I just said adore, but the idea behind it is that when we have all those people making comments, it is dope. And when over there they go through and when there's a war breaking out, he's got everybody on both sides talking about what's actually happening, the internal struggle versus getting it on the mainstream internet or mainstream news, right? And they just fill you with a bunch of propaganda malarkey. So that's why I feel like it's like really important to be able to have just a big community. I just gave a lot. Say something.
Anyway, Brando Commando, thanks for joining us. Really,
dog.
Really appreciate it. Speaking of malarkey, that's enough malarkey from Pedro and I. As I said, we'll be here tomorrow. On Thursday, I am sure we're going to be here on Friday also. Get another show in. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. We'll give it to Roland Rod for final.
Wait. Sorry, not to interrupt you again. One last time. You're like, freaking A, Pedro.
I can't ever get through the ending.
Yeah, and then I promise to be, and then you can finish it up. What's the schedule going to be for Thursday and Friday? What?
I literally just said it.
Oh, did you?
I said it in my outro. I said we'll be with you here tomorrow at the same time on Thursday, and I said we'll probably be here on Friday.